Well, hey, this is Josh Nelson, and I want to thank you for joining us on today's training, where we're going to be talking about how you can build a seven-figure agency by positioning yourself as the experts in your niche. And what we're going to cover during the time we have together is I'm going to show you how we grew our agency from zero to over $175,000 in monthly recurring revenue, or about $2 million per year, in our local internet marketing business by focusing on a relatively small, narrowly defined niche. We work primarily with plumbing and HVAC companies. And just to give you a little bit of the backstory of our company, we started our company back in 2011, didn't have any clients, didn't have any revenues. By the end of that first year, we got to 30 grand, which was pretty good. I mean, $30,000 per month in recurring revenues. We could feel pretty confident we were onto something and we were going to see some growth. By the end of 2012, however, we had $70,000 in recurring revenue, and by the end of now, where we sit today, we're doing about $175,000 per month in recurring revenue, and we're on pace to do over $2 million per year. And so, just I know there's a lot of people that make bold claims, and it's hard to say who's legit versus who's just throwing out BS. So I wanted to show you a screenshot, a recent screenshot of our Infusionsoft, where you can see we're billing $175,000 per month in clients directly on our Infusionsoft account. And it's all been a function of what I'm going to be showing you throughout the course of this presentation. So here's what you're going to learn today. You're going to learn why choosing and focusing on a niche or vertical market is the quickest and most effective path to highly profitable growth within your agency. You're going to learn how to choose a niche, what to consider so that you can stop thinking about it and finally start building your agency. I talk to a lot of guys that they understand the concept of the niche. They know that it's probably the quickest and easiest way to do it, but they haven't done it. There's just something blocking them. So what I want to do today is really push you through that hurdle, help you choose the right niche, and really start selling as opposed to just constantly thinking and twiddling your thumbs. And then how to establish yourself as the expert in that vertical so that you can get your customers coming to you pre-positioned to buy. And then how to roll out an aggressive and effective marketing plan for that niche so that you can leverage your authority and the platform that I'm going to show you how to build to drive a lot of qualified leads on a consistent basis to build your seven-figure agency. So it's pretty exciting stuff. I hope you're excited, because I'm certainly excited to share it with you. Why this is important now? A lot of what you've learned about how to build your agency is just wrong. A lot of it is just, do cold calling, get your metrics up, get the activity going, and somehow or another, you just got to work harder and work harder. Well, the fact is that certainly isn't correct. I've worked in this space now for about 7 years. Prior to working with building this business, I worked with Reach Local, one of the biggest local internet marketing agencies, and we're talking about thousands and hundreds of people going through that process of cold calling, getting rejected, trying to get the clients. There's a better way, and it's important that you know what that better way is, and that's what we're going to be covering on this presentation. Market saturation's made it prospects almost immune to traditional prospecting attempts. Let's face it, hundreds of other guys right in your backyard, hundreds of companies with big sales forces calling with the same exact message. Hey, we're going to help you increase your sales. We're going to help you leverage the internet. The customers have become immune to it. If you talk to any business owner on a local level and say, hey, are you talking to a lot, do you get calls from people trying to sell you these services? Inevitably, they say, yeah, we get like 5 or 6 of them per day. And they've tried a lot of them, and they've been burned, and they've failed. And so there's almost an immunity to traditional prospecting efforts. So cold call conversions are at an all-time low. If you're cold calling, you're going to really have a hard time. So you have to figure out a way to position yourself as an expert so the customers see you as somebody to go work with, as opposed to you chasing them with virtually no value proposition other than, hey, I'm renting your backyard and I'd like to schedule a couple minutes of your time to talk about how we can help you increase your sales. They hear that every single day. You really have to position yourself and educate. So basically what I'm saying is that the game has changed. Strategies that worked a year, 2 years, 5 years ago are no longer effective, and you have to get with the program if you intend to be successful and to make any amount of money in this business. So is this for you? Well, if you're the owner of a local agency a consultant, or just a business owner in an agency and want to grow it quickly, then this presentation is definitely for you. If you're tired of cold calling and want to find a better way to position yourself in the market so that customers come to you ready to buy, this is for you. And if you want to build a highly profitable and successful agency, this information is for you. Now, just a couple of house rules, a couple rules. This is for those that are serious about building a real agency. There's no get quick rich, work from home in your underwear type of solution. If that's you and you're the kind of guy that thinks, hey, you know what, I'm just going to hide behind my computer. I'm never going to have to talk to a prospect. I'm never going to have to do any speaking. I'm never going to have to talk with my customers and build an agency with real employees and with real service accountability. This is not for you. And just take it out of your head. No, do nothing, get paid. That doesn't exist. If you're of that mindset, please don't bother. And no churn and burn sales guys allowed. If you think that you can just sell and not have to worry about fulfillment and not worry about getting your clients the results that you've promised, please don't use anything I'm going to train you on this webinar. I'm very serious about that. I don't want to get a bunch of sales guys really good at positioning themselves so that they can go out and sell these services and fail to perform for their clients. The underlying expectation is you know what you're doing, you know how to provide great service, you know how to get your clients results so that they get ranked, they get calls, and their business actually grows. So if you're the churn and burn type that just thinks you're going to get on this, learn how to do it, please, none of you allowed on this presentation. And the last thing I'll say from a house rules perspective is that my results are not typical. So in the last 4 years, I grew my business from zero to over $2 million per year. We've got 20 employees. That's not typical. So I don't want to paint the expectation that, yes, you're going to accomplish those same results. My goal would be that each and every one of you, if you really embrace these concepts and you implement them, that you can grow your business and you can have a very lucrative company. But I'll just put it out there that my results aren't typical. If I talk to several thousand local internet marketers, I'm very rarely finding guys doing more than $10,000 or $20,000 per month in recurring revenue. So that might just be a function of people don't fall through on things that they want to do, or they buy training and then they never implement it. But don't let that be you. Implement the strategies and make it happen. So I'm just going to, real quick tell you what the process was that helped us get to the point where we could grow the business that we have. And of course, I'm not done with my agency. My agency is at $2 million per year. My goal over the next 5 years is to grow that to $10 million. So I'll just tell you that this isn't me exiting the agency so I can train. This is me growing my agency, but at the same time, taking some of my knowledge, some of my information, and sharing it with those that can benefit from it. So what helped us get to that point? Well, backstory, I got a picture here of me and my family when when I was a little kid. I'm the guy on the right in the sailor outfit. But my parents were missionaries. I grew up in Haiti in a very poor family. So as a missionary family, we didn't have a lot of money. My dad didn't have a lot of money to buy us the luxuries that we might have wanted. So I lived in Haiti for about 10 years, moved to the United States when I was 10 years old, and have lived in Miami ever since. But right out of high school, I decided that I liked the internet, I liked web technology, and I started in a web design and hosting company. And basically, I signed up with a company called ASI Media, which was a franchise that was going to help me grow my business. And I think that the initial investment was $15,000. Now, as a missionary's kid, I didn't have $15,000, and my dad really didn't have $15,000. But I went to him and I said, hey, you know what, Dad, I really think I can make myself a successful business owner. I'm going to start a web design and hosting company, and I need some money. I need about 15 grand to get this thing off the ground. And however he did it, I think he took out a second mortgage on the little place that we owned in South Florida, and he got me that money. And for him, this was almost like asking him for $150,000. He did not have the money. And so I was taking a big gamble on this. And I took that money and I started my little company. It was called Develocom. And we were building websites and we were hosting websites and we were selling one client at a time. And it was a design fee to build the website and then like a $30 a month hosting fee. And for 2 years, I ran this business. And I had a partner. We rented a little office in Miami. For whatever reason, I really don't know why we had an office, because we didn't have any revenues. But no matter what we did, it seemed like we would sell a client, we would build the website, and the income that we made, if we could sell 5 or 6 clients on a monthly basis, was enough to cover just the cost of running the business. So our hosting fees and our rent and our phone lines and the electric and all the other things that went into running the business, that we actually didn't take any money. And we kind of pre-programmed into our head, as a business owner, you don't make money in the first couple of years. You have to earn it, you have to build it, and it takes time to get there. Well, that was extremely stressful, was extremely frustrating. Like, granted, I had just graduated high school, and I was going through college, and I didn't need a ton of money. I was still living with my parents. But at the same time, I could have gone out and gotten a job paying me $25,000, $30,000 per year, but I was working extremely hard, 40, 50 hours a week while going to school, not making any money. And so after a full 2 years of doing this process and really beating my head against the wall, my business partner and I decided to fold. And I remember it was one of the hardest things I ever had to do, to go to my dad and say, hey, thanks so much for lending me that $15,000, but this isn't going to work out, and we're going to have to shut the business down. And that was a depressing, sad time in my life. And one of the reasons I did have to fold the shop, first of all, the business model just didn't work. It wasn't profitable. We weren't making any money. But I was also going to be married. I was marrying my wife, Yesenia, who was kind of my high school sweetheart. And being married at that young age of about 22, I needed to have an income if we were going to get our own place and we were going to sustain ourselves. So I went into corporate sales and did the B2B thing. I worked for a couple companies like ADP and Reach Local, and kind of cut my teeth. But throughout that time, I always wanted to get back to having a successful internet marketing company. I wanted to get back to working for myself as opposed to just earning an income. And in reflection, what I determined was where I failed to succeed in my Developcom business was I wasn't actually generating result for my clients. All I did while I was there was build a website and host it. And a website is nothing more than an online brochure. It didn't generate calls. It didn't help them grow their business. It really didn't do anything. And so with that knowledge, I said, you know what? I have to learn how to provide internet marketing services that get results. Because if I can help a company position themselves in a way that they actually get more than what I charge them, then I have a business that will grow and be sustainable. And at that time, I connected with Reach Local because I wanted to really figure this thing out. And I started working there for a little bit, and I learned a lot about how to sell these services and the fact that local companies will spend between $500 and $800 per month to market themselves, especially if it generates a return on investment. And really armed with that information, we finally started Click Incorporated, which was our local internet marketing company. And the process there, we started being a sell to everybody type agency. And we were going to sell to the local dentist, the local chiropractor, the local roofer, anybody in the South Florida market that needed help marketing online. And we felt like we were pretty good at it. We had learned how to set up the websites and get them ranked and write compelling messaging and really do the work necessary to get them results. And it was slow growing at that point. You know, it was like we got a couple clients. Like you saw after the first year, we grew to about $30,000 in recurring revenue. But it wasn't significant. It was exponentially better than my first business, which was Developcom, which had no recurring revenue, and it was never getting any momentum. At least on this path, working with everybody locally, we were charging a monthly fee of between $1,000 and $1,500 per month. And once we got 10 clients, we had enough money to pay our bills and know that we had all of our needs taken care of. Now, somewhere around midway through that first year, we picked a vertical, and we decided we were going to become the very best company that there was in the plumbing and HVAC space. Got a client in that market, good results, and decided, again, we're going to position ourselves. And so we coined ourselves as Plumber SEO. We wrote our book, The Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Plumbing Contractors. We really positioned ourselves the way I'm going to be training you on this webinar And that's really where we started to see momentum. And we just continued to hone our services in that space and really position ourselves. And what happened was, as you saw prior, we were able to grow the business to the point where now we're billing $175,000 per month in monthly recurring revenues. And we've got a team of 20 people in our office in Miami that help us get this work done. And it's extremely exciting to know that, well, we finally got a successful business, we're making good money, and we're really having an impact on the community around us. We've got a full-time staff of people here in Miami that help us execute the services that we offer, and we actually get great results for our clients. I'm not going to make this a pitch session about how great we do for our clients, but it is no greater feeling as a business owner than knowing what you're doing works and seeing some of our clients, for instance, go from being a one-man operation to the point where they now they have 7 full-time employees and are doing several $1 million per year in revenue. That's the type of impact we have the opportunity to make in our marketplace. And so some of the keys to that success and what we're going to be unpacking throughout the course of this training is we chose a niche, right? And we could do the same thing in virtually any niche. I learned this while I was in the document imaging industry. I was in B2B sales at a couple different companies, and I decided in that business to choose the niche of universities and colleges, and really just said, okay, I'm going to work with that particular niche. I'm going to go nationwide with it, and it becomes so much easier to sell when you choose a niche. And so when I was at Reach Local, the niche I decided to work with was dentistry, and I got 15 or 16 dental clients within the space of about 7 months. So choosing a niche and positioning yourself is strong. Get the client good results, position yourself as the expert in the space, and then put a proactive multi-channel marketing strategy in place. And these were the keys to the success that help us really accelerate the success of our company. So let's talk about why choosing a niche. Well, the fact is everybody wants to work with an expert in their type of business. So if you've been doing this for any period of time and you followed the traditional model of cold call, network, get the face-to-face meeting, present your wares, hope that they buy, you'll know that regardless of who you meet with, if it's the dentist, that dentist is guarded and he says, you know what other dentists have you worked with? Can I see their website? Can I see their results? Would I be able to talk with one of your dental clients to understand how this has worked for them? Because everyone wants to work with someone that has experience in their type of business. And so when you choose a niche, you have the ability to build up those case studies, build up those testimonials, and you become magnetically attractive to the people in your space. It becomes a heck of a lot easier to sell and close business. It's easier to fulfill and systematize. Now, you probably wouldn't be thinking about this until you have 10, 20, or 30 clients, but at the end of the day, when you get a client, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And if you're working in multiple verticals, like so if you work with a dentist one day and a chiropractor the next, and a roofing company the next, and a auto repair shop the next, every time you get a client, you're refiguring out what works for that type of business, right? So what types of web pages should we set up for them? What keywords should we be targeting? What's the messaging that works? And so as you grow and as you scale, there's a very strategic benefit to being niche specific. And you can become really good at getting results within that space. I tell you, if you work with 2, 3, 4, 5 companies in dentistry, you start to figure out what works and you can get results. And I want to really emphasize and really hammer home the point that you have to get results for the clients. At the end of the day, that's what this is all about. If you're not getting results for the clients, then you're really just selling hot air. So you want to become good at what you actually do at your core business. And then also it's the fastest and easiest way to accelerate the growth of your agency. And so these are some things that I really want you to think about and why it's so important, why it's so essential to choose a niche. You've all heard this, so this isn't new, but it's important. And so really what I want you to think about now is how to choose your niche. So I want you to get past the idea of, okay, yeah, I think I should choose a niche. I think having a niche is important, but I really want you to spend the time, spend the energy, and commit to maybe, you don't have to choose one, maybe 1 or 2 niches that you're going to try and specialize in. And so some things to think about as you try and select your niche. The first is, do they clump together or self-identify? So what I mean by that is a niche is not healthcare. Healthcare is extremely broad. Within healthcare, you've got dentists, you've got chiropractors, you've got urgent cares, you've got a lot of different things. Nobody self-identifies as a healthcare organization. However, they do self-identify as a chiropractor, or they do self-identify as a roofer. And I'll just tell a quick story around this because it happened to us. And so we chose plumbing, and when we put together our book about internet marketing for plumbers, and we put together our white paper and all this great information on marketing for plumbing businesses, we were magnetically attractive. Now, in order to broaden ourselves and really start to work with some other agencies and some other business types, we decided we would set up as contractor SEO, right? Contractors, that would be anybody that works in a home, a roofer, an AC repair contractor, a landscaping company, they're all contractors. And so we did the same thing. We set up contractor SEO, and we wrote a book that's about 200 pages called Internet Marketing and SEO for Contractors. And we thought this was just going to blow up. It was going to be fantastic. But what happened was it was literally attractive to nobody because nobody self-identified as a contractor. Not the roofer, not the AC guy, not the landscaper. And so as we compare the sales of our books and the leads that we get, the plumbing is significantly greater. And the reason is because nobody self-identifies in that way. So really make sure when you choose your niche that they do self-identify and they kind of clump together. Do they have the propensity to invest in marketing? Now this is real important. You might find a great niche that could be great. They self-identify, they have a need for internet marketing services, but for whatever reason, they just don't spend on marketing. And so how can you tell, how do you know? You probably want to call 5 or 10 people in that niche and just kind of say, hey, what kind of marketing do you do for a company? What types of things have you tried and implemented? An easy way to identify this is if you look at an old yellow book, and I know a yellow book, maybe some of you don't even know what I'm talking about. If you look at the old yellow pages and you flip to any particular section, right? You've got your garage door repair, and you've got your lawyers, and you've got your house cleaning services. The ones that have a big section means that there's a lot of people that are spending money, or at least in the past spent money to be in that area. And so spend some time to make sure your niche is willing to spend $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 per month in order to market themselves. Because you don't want to have to play the game of convincing people that they should be marketing. You want to play the game of convincing people that you can help leverage their marketing dollars as effectively as possible, if that makes sense. Are there enough of them? So you don't want to choose too small of a niche. And we work with plumbing companies. A lot of people think that's a really small niche. Well, if you look it up, there's over 100,000 plumbing companies throughout the United States. Chiropractors, roofing companies, there's a lot of these types of organizations. And a great way to look at this is to pull it up on InfoUSA, so go to InfoUSA.com, and you can choose an industry. You might choose roofing, you might choose veterinarian, you might choose dentistry, and you can run a search and see exactly how many companies are in that type of business. And then you can further drill down and say, okay, how many types of those types of companies do over $1 million per year in revenue? Because one of the things I'm going to coach you on is not everybody in your space that you choose is a good client. Really, your best clients are going to be the ones that are successful, that are already spending money, that are affluent. And so you want to really focus, are there enough in your niche that are doing at least $1 million per year in revenue that would give you the idea that they have enough money to invest if you make a good, solid proposition for them? Is there an industry association? And so you might be surprised again on this. There's literally associations for just about everything. There's a garage door association. There's definitely a dental association. There's the American Bar Association. And so whatever niche you're going to work within, make sure you select a niche that has that association and that has that grouping so that you can join the association for credibility, you can gain access to the list, and you can find out when they have events and start to show up at their events as an exhibitor and or eventually speak at their events, because that's a huge opportunity for you. So make sure that there is an association that you can be at. And then, do they have periodic events? That kind of goes along with the association. Do they meet on an annual basis? Do they have local chapters that meet on a monthly, quarterly, annual basis? And so from there, you have everything you need to start to choose your niche. And if you can find something that meets those criteria, I'd say go to town with it. And so once you've got your niche, the next thing you want to do is to develop your positioning. And there's a difference between positioning and marketing. So positioning is, what do you need to do? Who do you need to become? How do you need to present yourself so that you become attractive to the people in that space? And so I always think start with positioning and then use marketing. So how can we develop your positioning? The first thing you want to do is develop your keynote presentation. And your keynote presentation is literally just either a PowerPoint or a keynote software presentation that you could present to a group of people in that space. So let's imagine you decided you were going to go after the dental market. And let's say you were invited to speak at the local dental association meeting. And you're going to be in front of 50 or 60 dental practitioners. It's a great opportunity, right, for you to educate them, give them great value, and then to position yourself as an expert. So what would you say? And that's what your keynote presentation is. It's your PowerPoint explaining, as a dentist, this is what you would need to do in order to get more calls, more leads, more patients into your practice. Whatever marketing mix you come up with for that particular niche, that's what you want to do. And put together a basic presentation. Step 1, you need to have a website. Step 2, you need to be on social media. Step 3, you need to start collecting email addresses and requesting reviews, etc. And you would put this into a PowerPoint presentation in a logical, sequential fashion so that you could eventually present that. And so this might seem like, well, you're putting the cart way ahead of the horse. I don't have my first client yet. I don't know what I'm doing. Trust me. Start with your keynote presentation. From there, you're going to develop the marketing guide for that niche. And what this is really just the key points from your PowerPoint presentation or your keynote presentation in a 15 to 20 page guide that says, okay, in order to maximize the number of new patients you can get into your practice, these are the top 7 things you need to be doing. And then explaining what those 7 things are, using visuals as they make sense, so that you can use that as lead bait or a lead magnet. So when you get in front of these guys, either on Facebook or on social media or on pay-per-click or on SEO, you can offer them something that they'll want, which is a guide on how to get more patients, right? So that's the second thing you're going to do. The third thing you're going to do is you're going to develop your case study and your testimonials. So as you want to position yourself, one of the most important positioning elements is social proof. And like I said, you talk to the dentist, they want to see what you've done for another dentist. You need to do whatever it takes to go out and find that first client and get them results. And so what we did, we got our first plumbing company. He actually paid us full bill, and he became our case study. And we just went to town on that one client. We did everything we thought was possible to get him ranked well, to get him good results, and to make him an advocate for our services. I think you don't necessarily have to get paid full bill. If you're in position to do that, great. But if not, go find a local guy in your area that needs your services. Tell him you're looking to build yourself as the expert in that space and you'd like to make him a case study. And then make him an offer he can't refuse and get him results, because you need that case study and you need that testimonial. From there, you want to set up your website with great content. Now remember, a website is a marketing tool, but it really should be a positioning tool. And so when I'm talking about websites within your niche, I'm not saying to go and set up your main company, whatever your main company might be. I'm literally saying set up, if you chose dentist, dentalmarketingsecrets.com, for instance, and then have a whole website that is filled with great content that can be used as a place. Hey, go there to learn a little bit more about what we do, to show your case studies, your case study, to share the information that you have in your keynote, and really make it publicly available on your website. From there, what you're going to do is you're going to set up a video-based training. So we've got our keynote presentation. We've probably practiced it and rehearsed it. In a perfect world, we would be instantly invited to speak at the local dental association. That's not going to happen. You have to earn those types of opportunities. But what you can do right off the bat is take your presentation, sit down in front of your computer, turn on ScreenFlow or Camtasia, and present. And record yourself going through your 30 to 45 minute PowerPoint presentation. And when you do that, you've got everything you need to really ultimately position yourself. And so record it, and then you're going to set up a webinar type environment where you can drive people to watch that training, the particular people in your niche. And then you're going to develop your book. And I know alarm bells might be going on for some of you guys. Oh man, what do you mean write my book? I'm not an author. I'm not a great writer. We'll get to that. But this is literally the ultimate positioning opportunity. If you can say, we wrote the book on marketing for dental practices, you separate yourself. Like I said, cold calling doesn't work anymore. It's really more about positioning yourself and getting your customers to come to you. Writing a book gives you a great opportunity to position yourself as the expert. And so we'll unpack that a little bit as we go. And then what I want you to do is automate your webinar. So I talked about recording the video-based training. Now what you're going to do is you're going to use a system like Stealth Seminar, or there's a lot of tools that do this, where you can have your webinar, it's just a video recording of your presentation running. And you can say, hey, it's running today at 2. Make it run every day at 2 p.m. or whatever time works for your niche. And then you can just invite people to that webinar. And then if you've put together a logical webinar that provides great information and then has a logical conclusion that they should hire you to help implement these services, you can start to develop a strategy that drives a consistent flow of highly qualified prospects into your business. And then I want you to set up some follow-up email sequences so that if they come to your website and download your marketing guide, they get a series of emails. If they attend one of your webinars, they get a sequence of emails. And those emails, we'll talk about a little bit as we go, really just continue to provide value and position you as the expert. And so this is all really still positioning. We're not marketing ourselves yet. We're just putting the positioning elements in place. So I talked about writing your book. And if you're looking to see who the authority is, it's always the author. And so there's nothing stronger that you can do than to say, we wrote the book on internet marketing for plumbing contractors, for instance. So that you can go into those plumbing companies and say, hey, we wrote the book. We're the experts. We speak at the associations. And here's just a photograph of me and my business partner, Dean, on our book, The Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Plumbing Companies. And so why write the book? Why is this important? Well, first of all, it gives you instant expert status. It's a major differentiator, being, all right, so that dentist is trying to find someone to help them market themselves. And they've got a lot of opportunities. As we talked about earlier, there's literally hundreds of people that want their business and people calling them on a daily basis. And so they're trying to choose, should they use Reach Local? Should they use Heboo? Should they use the local guy across the street? Should they use the guy in India that called them the other day? Or should they use the guy that wrote a very quality piece of information on how to market their type of dental practice for more patients? That's what I mean, differentiator. You stand out from the crowd in this environment. And it's great for getting speaking opportunities, which drives even more expert status, right? Because you can go to the association meeting and you can attend, or you can go and you can exhibit, and you get some leads from that. But when you go to that event and you speak at the front of the stage, that just turns the entire equation on its head. And so the easiest way to get those speaking engagements is to have your book, send it out to the people that run the event, say, hey, we wrote the book on how to do this for these types of companies, and we'd love to speak at your next event. Those types of speaking opportunities will present themselves when you're the expert. And you're the expert when you wrote the book. Does that make sense? And so really it makes you become magnetically attractive in your niche, and you can charge significantly more and have significantly less sales resistance because you're the national expert as opposed to the local generalist. So just some quick information on publishing a book, because I really think this is such an important element of the equation. You've got some options, right? You could use a service like Advantage Media where you can talk your book and they'll take the transcription and they'll create a presentation for you from it. That costs some money. That costs between $10,000 and $15,000. You could self-publish, and usually what happens with self-publishing is you need to buy 1,000, 3,000 copies, which will cost you several $1,000s in printing. But there is a no-cost publishing option, which is extremely powerful and actually gets you on Amazon.com. And that's called Amazon CreateSpace. And I'll just walk you through a little bit of it. All you have to do is write your book, upload the cover and the content for the book, and then you can pay on demand as your books are purchased. And so you get a free ISBN number, and your book's actually on Amazon.com. So it's an opportunity where now you've got a book that's published on Amazon.com. You didn't pay any amount of money up front in order to have it printed or to have it published, and you can pay just $2 to $3 depending upon how many pages you have. And then you have a physical book, kind of like the one we have in the image there, that you can hand out at events, that you can mail to your prospects, that you can get in their hands, that really position you. So it's really not that expensive to get your book published and to say that you're on Amazon.com with really no minimum orders. And so, yep, there's our book on Amazon. This is kind of what you can do is you can say, hey, yeah, well, our book's right on Amazon.com. And now on your website and everything that you put together from a marketing perspective, you just promote the heck out of the fact that, yeah, we're the authors. We wrote the book on marketing for this type of business. So now that you know that it's not that expensive and you know that it's relatively simple, you just go to Amazon.com, you just go to CreateSpace.com, you upload two files, a content file and a cover file, and you're off to the races. Now all you got to do is figure out how you're going to write the book, right? And so I want to encourage you that you have the knowledge in your head. If you're on this webinar, I bet you that you're a student of marketing, a student of internet marketing. You probably attend a lot of the events and trade shows around this type of information, and you've learned a lot of information about marketing, about local marketing. So you have the information in your head. All you have to do now is take that knowledge and apply it to your niche. So you take all the great information that you've learned from all those experts and you say, here's how this applies to dental practices, right? And then what you want to do is you want to write your chapter outline or start talking. One of the easiest ways to do this is to take your webinar that I've already encouraged you to create, the video file, send it to a service like Casting Words, have it transcribed, and now you've got probably, if it's an hour-long webinar, you've got probably about 60 to 70 pages. Put some images in there, add a checklist or two. Before you know it, you're at about 90 pages, and you just need to start to come up with a little bit more content to make it about 100 to 120 pages so it looks like a real book. And then you just create your graphic, your cover and your back cover, and you upload it. So really want to encourage you on the creating of your book and the positioning element here. Don't overthink it. Don't feel like you have to write a Pulitzer Prize piece of information. Just create your book and upload it. And these are the things you can do from a positioning perspective, really position your company so that you're significantly more attractive than the competition. From there, we can start to shift to to internet marketing or marketing strategies, which is, okay, now I've got my positioning, I've chosen my niche. How do I deploy those assets? How do I start to get in front of my prospects so that when they see me, they get engaged with my material and they're contacting me saying, hey, how do I learn more about your services? And so the first thing I'm going to recommend is a web strategy. All right, obviously you're here on a web-based meeting and we're an internet marketing company, and this is a logical place to start. This is not the only place to start. We're going to talk about you need to have a multi-channel marketing effort that touches a lot of different things, but you can start with web. And I talked about having a website set up for your niche, and I want you to start with SEO and really making sure that website can show up in search. And this isn't as hard as you think, because you're going to pick your domain, you're going to set up a website, and where I see a lot of people drop the ball here is they set up just a simple lead capture page. Either they use Lead Pages or OptimizePress, and they just have a basic one-pager, or maybe home, about us, our services, contact us. And so it's probably going to wind up falling flat because the only way to get people to that page is through search. So how do you leverage SEO, search engine optimization, to drive free traffic? And that's by taking the great content that you have from your keynote presentation, from your video-based recording, from your guide, and you cut it up into individual pieces. So if you said step one was to get ranked in the Google map, right? You take that section, whether it's video or text, and you make that a page or a post on your website. You take the information about how to leverage social media to get more patients within your dental practice, and you upload that to your website. And before you know it, you've got the authority site online that shares more great information on how a dental practice or whatever niche you're working in can get more business via the internet. And if you're the authority site and you've got this great content, people are getting there. And then all you have to do is position your content strategy so at the end of every page it says, hey, if you found this interesting and you'd like more information, click here to register for a webinar we've got coming up, automated, or click here to download our guide that really walks you through the top 7 things every dentist needs to do to get more patients. And so have a SEO strategy and really a content strategy that really helps to position you. Now, if it works for SEO, it's going to work with pay-per-click. And believe it or not, the people in your niche are typing in auto repair marketing services, dental internet marketing, dental marketing, more patients from my dental practice. You can use pay-per-click to drive those searches to your website. And then you want to leverage social media. You know, I used to think that social media was a kind of a dead end, and there's a lot of people on there, but it doesn't drive a lot of business. This was an incorrect theory. As a matter of fact, the targeting has gotten so good on Facebook that you can pick your niche and really get in front of them at a very low cost, quite a bit less than pay-per-click. And the way to do this is, we talked about choosing your niche, finding the associations. So in every niche, there's a national association. You can target on Facebook that association. So if you're targeting dentists, you find people that have liked or are members of the dental association, and then make that a target audience, and then put together an ad. And your ad could be something as simple as the top 7 things every dentist needs to know to get more patients. Click here to learn more. So they're on Facebook kind of browsing around. They come across that ad, they click it, they get to your website. It's an opt-in, obviously. They type in their email address, and then a sequence of events, a sequence of emails is dripped out onto them that takes them from hanging out on Facebook to being exposed to your material and feeling like, wow, I could get more patients if I did that. To, well, these guys can do this for me. Why don't I contact them and let them implement these strategies for me? Does this make sense? So social media is also a great channel to do that. Email marketing. You know, actually, email marketing is what we used to get ourselves from, a couple grand a month to that next level, that hump where we can feel like, okay, we're making enough money now where we can really get an office and be profitable. And so with email marketing, all you have to do is use a service like InfoUSA, and there's all kinds of email list brokers out there where you can get the names and email addresses of people within a specific type of business and then send strategic email marketing to those folks. And we've done it 2 ways. We've actually done it a couple ways. One way is to send a very overt, hey, we're looking to work with just one dentist in the Miami area, for instance. And you might choose all of the dentists in the Miami area at that given period of time. And then have a message on that page that says something like, hey, I know that you get calls and emails from people promising to help you do more and get more patients within your practice. And in my mind, it's hard to really figure out who knows what they're doing versus who's just trying to sell you a bill of goods. And so what I want to do is show you some real-world examples and case studies of how we've helped other dental practices just like you double and triple their leads that they're getting either via the web or offline, whatever it is that you decide to sell. And then link them to a video where you can show them the proof. Maybe have a video of your guys saying how great you guys are, or have a screenshot that shows the results that you got for them in terms of new patients or new leads. And then close with, hey, by the way, we've sent this to 20 other dentists in the Miami area. It's going to be closed on a first come, first served basis. We're only going to work with one of you. We feel like it'd be a conflict of interest. So if you'd like to work with us and you'd like to have exclusive rights as opposed to these other 17 guys, call me right away so we can get you set up. We actually found that to be very effective, and it's something we do on a pretty consistent basis, and it's a low-cost way to drive high-quality leads from people that are really interested in working with you. Strategic cold calling, right? I talked about the beginning about how ineffective cold calling is, and the fact that cold call success rates are practically nothing because there's no strategy behind the call. A lot of people cold call just blind, right? They have a list of companies and then, hey, can I please speak with Tom, the owner? Or, hey, Tom, I'd like to schedule a couple minutes of your time to show you how you can, and blah, blah, blah. And they get that again and again. Now, strategic cold calling is you've chosen a niche, right? So that already gives you a major edge up because you can say, hey, we specialize in working with companies in this type of industry. But beyond that, if you're a member of the association, you're calling association members, now you could say, hey, we specialize in working with dentists. We're members of the Miami Dental Association, and we're calling all the members. That's a little bit warmer. But really, ultimately, if we're kind of following along with me from a sequential process, you set up a webinar, you set up an information guide, you're calling into a very specific niche. What you can do is call the members of the local association and say, hey, this is Tom. I'm calling on behalf of the local association. We're members, and we've got a webinar coming up specifically on how to get more leads and more patients for your dental practice. It's coming up on Tuesday at 3 p.m., and we wanted to get Dr. Jones registered. Then you get Dr. Jones on that. In order to get him registered, you got his email address, right? So now you can send an email with your guide. Hey, Dr. Jones, we got you registered for the webinar. Wanted to get you a little preview. Here's your guide we developed, the top 7 things every dental practice needs to do to get more patients. And we're really excited about seeing you on the webinar, which is tomorrow at 2 p.m. Here's your login details. You get another email right before tomorrow afternoon. And then Dr. Jones gets pulled out of his practice into your webinar, is exposed to your information, and becomes a client. And so this is, in my mind, a lot more strategic way to leverage cold calling. So that's strategic cold calling. Industry trade shows. This is extremely powerful. The more face-to-face time you can get, the better. And so we talked about finding out what associations there are. Every association has at least 1 or 2 events a year where they all come together from a national basis. And they have trade shows where they let exhibitors pay $500 to $1,000 up to probably as much as $5,000 or $6,000 to set up a booth and just be present where the attendees are hanging out. And they do these both on a local level, so maybe at the state level, and on a national level. And we found it to be very effective to go to those events, have our booth, pass out our book, and have conversations with people. Every time we travel to an event of this type, we walk away with a couple new clients, and it's extremely effective. The next thing is speaking engagements and speaking opportunities. You can go to an event and have a booth similar to this, which is, like I said, pretty effective. We get business from it. But as you start to work your way up the speaking ladder from just attending the event, maybe to actually having an endorsed webinar from the association where you talk to the association and say, hey, you know what, where are the authors? I want to get you a copy of our book. We'd love to conduct a webinar for your members. Once they get comfortable that you actually know what you're doing and your webinar isn't boring and it's engaging and the attendees like it, then they might invite you to speak. Well, they're not going to invite you. You got to ask. You say, hey, look, I'd love to speak at your upcoming event. You might get invited to speak. And when you start to get the opportunities where you're speaking and you're sharing your keynote presentation from the stage at those local and national events, that's really when you can start to be fully positioned. And it's really synergistic, right? Because not only do they see you speaking there, but they see you at your booth and they come back thinking, man, I really want to hire you guys. And then you can also leverage the fact that, hey, you know what? We are the experts because we wrote the book. We speak at the trade shows and associations. We've got X number of clients. And you just become more and more magnetically attractive to the customers in your space. Now, the last marketing strategy I'm going to suggest, and some of you might say, wow, direct mail? Really? This is an internet marketing company and they leverage direct mail. I would say I really love direct mail. I think it's one of the most effective ways to draw in strategically targeted prospects in your niche. The reason I say that is because let's say you're doing a lot of social media and SEO, and that's where you're getting your customers, that's where you're getting your leads. You really can't control the quality of the leads that you get. So just using the dentist as an example, you're going to get maybe the local dentist that has, just himself, the one-man operation that's only doing a couple $1,000s per month and really doesn't have a lot of money to invest. However, with direct mail, you can strategically select the type of company that you want to work with. It's almost like instead of going out with a spray gun and just seeing whatever you can hit, with direct mail, you can be a sniper rifle shooter and choose exactly who you want to work with. And so you could say, okay, I'm going to target the city of Denver, and I only want to work with I want to work with a top quality dentist in the Denver market that does over $2 million per year in revenue. And if they're doing over $2 million, they're pretty well established and they've got money to invest. I'm going to encourage you to really think about within your niche. You don't just want to deal with the bottom of the barrel. You want to deal with the guys that are successful and affluent. And the higher level guys you can work with, really the more they're willing to pay, the better results you're going to get for them, the longer they're going to stick, and really the more clout they have in terms of bringing you into other customers. So be strategic with who you decide to work with. And what we do is a 3-part mailing sequence. We choose our niche and we send 3 highly targeted messages. And the first message is, hey, here's a copy of our book. I've got a DVD with proof, and I've sent this to the other 17 guys or 20 guys or 30 guys in your area that meet our criteria, and we're only going to work with one of you. So look at the enclosed DVD, watch it for the examples and case studies. If you'd like us to do the same for you, call us right away. Otherwise, you're going to get locked out and we're going to work with one of your competitors. Creates scarcity, creates urgency, and really creates ready-to-move opportunities within your space. And then a follow-up, something a little bit different. This we would send, let's say, in a rush envelope, and this might be an audio CD with the keynote presentation in an audio format because they might not put in a DVD, but they would definitely listen to a CD. And then the third piece we send is it's a money bag with a DVD, and it's almost like a final notice. Hey, we're about to close out the Denver market. This is your last chance, the last opportunity to work with you. I've enclosed a DVD that explains our entire program, what's included, what we're going to do. So if you don't want to get locked out, you need to take action right away. Fill out the enclosed application and call us right now. And we found that marketing mix is really what's helped us grow our business to the $2 million a year company that it is today. And so just a quick recap, right, of some of the high-level stuff, some of the key information. We want to choose our niche, we want to establish our authority, and we want to put together a marketing strategy that makes us magnetically attractive to the companies in our space. And I created a little checklist for you that you can download. You can go to 7figureagency.com/checklist. Maybe just write this down for future reference. And that's where you can download this checklist that really helps you see where you're at and what you need to do. So, if you're someone who really can help people deliver great value in your marketplace, you might be wondering how you can implement these tactics and strategies I just showed you quickly and easily. And if you're anything like me, you like to learn from someone who's done what you want to accomplish. You need to be trained in a sequential fashion from do this first, do that second, do this third, and you expect an end-to-end blueprint that walks you through the entire process from getting the clients to actually fulfilling the services. There's almost as much, if not more, attention that needs to go into what's the customer experience, what are you doing for the customer, and how are you getting them results. And so if you're anything like me, you're looking for something with those 3 elements. And that's exactly why we developed the 7-Figure Agency Blueprint, which is a live course that's designed specifically to help you choose your niche, implement your marketing, positioning, and marketing campaign, and fulfill flawlessly in a way that really helps get your clients great results. Build the foundation for your 7-figure agency all over the next 8 weeks. So if you want to grow a highly successful and profitable agency, you want to be the expert in your chosen niche, and you want to have customers come to you pre-positioned to buy at premium rates and provide amazing service that actually generate great results for your clients all over the next 8 weeks, this program is specifically for you. Now what we're going to be doing is rolling this out live with you, 1 module per week over the next 8 weeks. And we're going to be delivering it live. So you're going to be live with me and my business partner, Dean, going in depth for each one of these topics. So module 1 is why choosing a niche is so important and how to choose yours. We're going to help you vet the niche and ensure that you settle in on a good one. But a lot of people are stuck at that place in their decision process. They know a niche is important. They kind of got their local generalized service that they're going with, but they haven't broken through. They haven't chosen their niche. So we're really going to unpack that, and we're not going to let you get past week 1 without finally settling in on what niche you're going to go after. From there, module 2, we're going to determine what you're going to sell the niche and really walk you through the service offering, pricing, and figure out exactly what you're going to be selling and how to sell it. Because, again, I feel like you need to be trained in a sequential fashion. The first thing is to choose the niche. The second thing is to really figure out what the heck you're going to sell. And it's different from one vertical to the next. What we do for plumbers might be a little bit different for a dental office. Might be a little bit different for a chiropractor. It's going to be a little bit different for an attorney. And so we're going to spend the time putting our heads together, figuring out what the right service to market match is for that space. In module 3, we're going to determine how to position yourself as the expert within your niche. And this is obviously going to be a beefy model. I talk a lot about that on this particular webinar, but we're going to really figure out how to set up your website, what domain we should choose. We're going to put together your keynote presentation and the lead magnet where people can get the information they need and get dripped on. We're really going to set up the foundation for your marketing strategy, which is your positioning. From there, we're going to get your first customer and develop your case study within that particular niche. Now, I'm not saying you don't have any customers. I mean, if you're on this webinar and you're thinking about doing this with me, I'm going to imagine you've probably got some momentum in your business and you're looking just to accelerate the growth. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what customer do you already have within the niche that might be a good fit. We're going to really figure out how to get that first customer and start to get that customer result so that we can have that case study going forward. Week 5, module 5, we're going to talk about how to fulfill your services and get the job done right. I've said so many times that one of the things I feel gets missed in this business is the actual doing of the service and getting of the results. So many people think, okay, all I got to do is figure out how to sell this, and then I can outsource this stuff, and hopefully something works. No, you have to spend just as much time and energy on the fulfillment as you do on the selling of the services. Because if you can provide a good service that gets your clients results, those clients are going to gladly stay with you and continue to pay. And they're going to be glad to refer you to others and act as a case study or act as a testimonial for you. So module 5, week 5, is probably the most important module. Obviously, you have to have customers in order to be able to fulfill work, but you have to be able to fulfill work and drive results if you're ever going to have a sustainable, growing business. So it's really essential. Module 6, we're going to talk about enhancing your authority positioning through authorship. And we're going to walk you step by step through the process of laying out your book, leveraging the content from your keynote presentation on your website, and get your book with the cover, with the content, uploaded to Amazon CreateSpace. So you have that book and you can order some, have maybe 10, 20, 30, 50 on hand so you can start to leverage them for your marketing. Number 7, we're going to put your marketing strategy in place and really do everything we need to start to attract the customers in your niche. Start to make sure the SEO is right, leverage pay-per-click, leverage social media, find the associations we're going to get involved with, harvest the email list, and figure out what message we're going to send out on email, and strategic prospecting via direct mail. So we're really going to start to put all of the pieces of the puzzle in place to really become attractive and start to bring in leads on a consistent basis. And then week 8, module 8, is all about customer service and account management strategies. Once you get these clients, you're going to have to start to think strategically about what you can do to retain them, to make them feel good about you and feel like you're providing a world-class experience. And so we've had to learn the hard way about that. There was a while where we had explosive growth and then we had a dip in our retention because all we were thinking about was the result we were getting the client. Turns out the number one reason a customer will leave you is because perceived indifference. They start to feel like you don't care. They don't hear from you enough. So we learned that you need to have people proactively managing the relationships, talking to the customers, working it, and doing it in a scalable manner. So we're going to talk on week 8 really how to build that out and to make sure you have a sustainable business. In the absence of being able to get a customer and keep a customer, you do not have a sustainable business. And so that's really what we're going to cover in those 8 weeks. And you're going to have monthly coaching calls with live access to me, Josh, and my business partner, Dean, who can answer your questions and hold you accountable. all 8 weeks, you're going to be live with us as we're going through this content, as we're training you through the material. We're going to be available after every call for questions and answers. And then on an ongoing basis, we're going to have monthly calls, because inevitably you're going to get to a place where you get it, you're moving, you've got momentum, but then you get stuck. You say, oh man, what do I need to do? I need to get a question answered. I need some help. And then we can get you through that and you can break through. So having live access to us, I think, is essential to help you really get to that next level. And you're going to get the exact strategy I personally use to grow my agency from zero to over $170,000 per month in recurring revenue. Now you might wonder what the price of all this is. I mean, it sounds great. How much is it going to cost? Well, a similar WSI type franchise, if you were to go out and say, hey, I want to get into the internet marketing space and I need to get a marketing team, marketing strategy, and I need to get some help with fulfillment and a blueprint for fulfilling services, costs you about 50 grand plus royalties. And the royalties aren't cheap. If you were to look at a company like ASI Media, which is another internet marketing franchise that's supposed to help you with some of this stuff, they charge 12 grand up front plus training costs, what they charge for you to really learn how to do what needs to be done. And then there's a lot of similar unproven programs that run between $500 to $7,500 per $7,500. Now, none of these programs, in my mind, have been built on a model that's proven to accelerate the growth of a business. And so I think anywhere in that price point would make a lot of sense. But we want to roll this out in a way that's a lot more affordable. So what we're going to do is provide you access to the entire training, the full 8 weeks, with live access to us for just $25.99 or $2,599. Or if you want to break it into payments, 3 payments of $1,000, over a month-to-month basis. And I think at that rate, this is a steal, because what we're doing is we're going to be coaching you on how to position yourself as the expert in the space and how to get clients that pay you between $1,500 and $2,000 per month. And they pay you every single month on a monthly basis. That's how you grow. That's how you get momentum within your business. So if we can just help you grow this business to a couple clients that are paying you on a monthly basis, doesn't that become a no-brainer? Well, we want to make it better because this, again, is a live launch. And this is the first time we're doing this as the 7-Figure Agency. We want to start to get some buy-in. We want to get some students that we can really help get this going as quickly as possible. So for the first 5 people that register, you can pay just $14.99, so $1,499, or you can split it into payments of just $5.99 each, which obviously is a much better deal than $2,500 and $1,000 times 3. So I think you would agree this is a fantastic opportunity to deal with 2 7-figure local agency business owners that have done exactly what you're trying to accomplish, that are really offering to show their blueprint and guide you all the way through the process. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is order. And you can do that by going to 7figureagency.com/order. So if you want to grow a highly successful and profitable agency, be the expert in your chosen niche, and have your customers come to you pre-positioned to buy at premium rates, and provide an amazing service that generates results for your clients all over the next 8 weeks, I want you to order now. You can go to 7figureagency.com/order. Again, 7figureagency.com/order, and place your order right now. Now, it gets even better, right? Even better than that discounted rate of $1,400 is that we're going to offer you the best guarantee ever. And that's basically that if you're not 100% satisfied, you can cancel at any time for a complete refund. And so if by the end of the training you decide it's not for you, just let me know and we'll give you a full refund. No questions asked, and everything's yours to keep. So you'll still have access to the training. You'll still have downloaded the knowledge that we shared with you. So this really is a no-lose proposition. We're saying if you're not happy, if you don't see the result, if you don't love the program that we give you, you can cancel and we'll refund your money. So 7figureagency.com/order. Now, of course, we want to make it even better still. We know there's a lot of trainings available online that offer to do this. We feel like this is uniquely positioned because We've actually done it. We're actually doing it. We will be doing this with you. We actually have a seven-figure agency, and we've been there, and we can really coach you through the process. And we've got a blueprint that we're going to be sharing. But we want to add some additional bonuses. And so one of the things we're going to offer is our actual presentation templates and presentation training. And so by that I mean we've got a presentation on how to market a plumbing company online. And it's worked extremely well, and a lot of the same fundamentals apply to pretty much any business. So we're going to actually give you the presentation that we use and provide it to you, and then we're going to provide you with presentation training. Standing in front of a stage or producing a webinar, there's a lot of nuance to it, and there's a proper way to do it that helps get great results, or there's a wrong way to do it that virtually produces nothing. Dean and I have invested probably about $15,000 to $20,000 in presentation training, and we've learned a lot of the secrets and a lot of the elements that go into making an effective presentation. So we're going to be adding a bonus training in addition to the 8-week modules that will actually train you on how to present this exact material, as well as give you the actual template, not just for our first presentation, but for the specific subcategory presentations. We got a presentation on Google Maps, and a presentation on using social media, and a presentation on leveraging email marketing, and we're going to actually give those to you as a bonus so that you can set up and run your own webinars or speak at conferences with confidence and knock your speaking engagements out of the park. But it gets even better still. We're also going to give you the direct marketing and email templates that we use. So I talked about the fact that we use email marketing as a way to get our first couple clients and to really accelerate the growth of our company. We're going to give you the actual email template as well as the direct mail sequence. So we do a lot of direct mail, mainly our 3-mail sequence. We're going to give you the actual material. So here's the presentation, here's the actual documents that you can swipe and deploy within your business to get prospects in your niche calling you pre-positioned to buy. I think these bonuses, in my opinion, are worth more than the $1,500 we're asking you to invest in the 8-week course. So we're still not done. We're also going to give you the systems and tools and outsourced Rolodex. So there's a lot of tools, a lot of systems that we use. We're going to do a separate bonus for you where we're going to outline these are the exact tools that we use. These are the exact systems that we run our business on, and these are the companies that we use to help us, right? The company to help us write our book, the company to help us the company to help us fulfill our services. And we're going to actually just provide that to you as a bonus, the actual people that we use and the actual tools that we build our business on. So just a recap of what you're going to get: the online the 7-figure agency blueprint, which is an 8-week comprehensive training. You're going to get the actual presentation training and presentation templates. You're going to get the direct mail and email templates, our proven systems and outsourced Rolodex, live weekly calls with me and my business partner, Dean, where you can ask questions and help move through whatever it is that's sticking you, as well as 3 one-on-one coaching calls with me or Dean. And that can happen over the phone, or it can happen via email if you just have a question that you need some help with. That's an unadvertised bonus. So you have 3 throughout the course of the program where you can reach out to us and we'll help coach you to that next level. So order right now by going to 7figureagency.com/order. Remember, only the first 5 are going to get it at that rate, and then it will jump to the $2,000 price point, which is what we're going to be charging for this going forward. So again, the first 5 people can register for just $14.99 or make 3 payments of just $5.99. Which is a $500 savings of what it's going to be after the first 5 people order. And you're guaranteed satisfaction. So if for some reason you're not 100% satisfied, your investment will be completely returned. This isn't a case where we need that money, where we're glad to return it if you don't see value. I can't imagine any circumstance where you're not going to get your $1,500 back almost immediately. I mean, we're going to be giving you the exact strategies and templates to really ratchet your business up extremely quickly. Now, obviously, the offer won't be available long. We're rolling this out as a live launch. The first 5 people are going to get it at the $14.99. When we redo this webinar, we're going to be doing some JV work where we're going to be getting in with other guys that have bigger lists than ours, and the price at that point is going to be a lot more. So anybody that doesn't register at this price right now won't be seeing it again. It's going to be a completely different price point because this is just such a comprehensive program, and when there's JVs involved, there's rev share. So I would take action on this right away. Go to sevenfigureagency.com/order. So you've watched the entire presentation, you want to grow your agency, and you know that this is an excellent value. So I want you to take advantage of the incredible discount, the amazing bonuses, and the can't lose guarantee now. And go to sevenfigureagency.com/order to get signed up and really register for this and get this thing off the ground so we can work together. So now I'm available for your questions. Those of you that haven't ordered yet, I'm going to tell you to go right now to sevenfigureagency.com/order. But if you have questions, go ahead and shoot them out and we'll take it from there.